Hello and welcome back to the Creative Juggle Joy podcast. It's Kaylie here with Delores, and today we're talking all things print on demand, with a focus on the Zazzle platform specifically. If you've ever wondered whether you could turn your designs into greeting cards, mugs, or gifts, and even stationery, this episode is for you. Delores, before we dive in, can you share a little about what drew you to Zazzle originally, and what kinds of products you created when you were more active on the platform?
At first, I'd been using Zazzle, buying products there to make custom items as gifts. So I would have people who would ask me if I could produce something for their wedding or something for whatever, a gift for a person, a personalized gift. And I had originally seen an ad on Facebook or Instagram for that specific product that I wanted. So I ordered that item, which was a printed clock in this case that a client needed. And it turned out really nicely. And I decided I'd see if I could do any selling on the site myself. So that's how it all started.
Wow. That's quite cool how it just kind of falls in, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How one thing leads to another. So why Zazzle? So Zazzle is quite different from setting up your own store, standalone. So what makes it appealing, especially for folks who might not want to build a full e-commerce site? And I know one of the things you appreciated about Zazzle was the personalization options, Delores. So customers can tweak designs before purchasing, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly how it worked out for me. That's how it all started. And at that time in my business, like I said, we were doing a lot of custom wall art for people that often included photographs. So let's say, in fact, I just did one this week, which is weird because I don't do these anymore, but this is a special friend who I've done work for her family for many years. And she's a neighbor here. And her daughter just graduated college. So 4 years at college. And so that's the kind of thing that people would ask, and they would provide me with photographs. And, at that time, so for example, we would print the wall art plaque. So like a 12 by 18 or 12 by 16 wooden plaque, but they would also want to have a bunch of cards to go with it, or just something else to commemorate the event. So that's exactly how it evolved. We eventually started doing some of those things, and I shopped around on Zazzle and found some specific things that would work. And, I started to kind of put it out there that I would do those things. So anything from mugs to cards and mock-ups of the occasional mouse pad and things like that at times, just weird random stuff. I once had a bunch of custom work for a wedding, and one of the things we created was a sign, kind of like a banner for them. And I generally did the customizing for my customers right on Zazzle, but that definitely was a great service that I could offer. And I could save the artwork and take a screenshot and send it to the customer to have it approved. And at that time, this was the only site that I personally had found that would allow me to do personalization. And it wasn't even really called POD yet, believe it or not.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you need to know before you start? So let's say someone never used Zazzle before, because I know some of our listeners may have never have heard of it. So what are some things they should know before uploading their first design? So what types of research should they be doing? How do you recommend they approach niche ideas or product categories? Any common newbie mistakes to avoid?
Yeah, that's such a broad question. And so a little bit hard to answer, Kaylie, because until you really get into using the platform, you don't necessarily know what you don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I suggest that you focus on one or two products or markets, so it's really tempting to get in there and you see that there are literally hundreds of different items that are available.
It's so overwhelming.
It's so overwhelming. And through trial and error, I have found that I have 2 or 3 products that sell well. And now I just focus on those products alone on the marketplace. So I would say common mistakes to avoid is to not create the artwork to be as high quality as it can be. So take time to perfect your techniques and compare your product, your artwork, to what you're seeing out there for sale. So what I suggest to any of my students to do is to get on the marketplace and look at what's trending. And from that, you can kind of make a few assumptions about what you should be focusing on.
Yeah.
Personally, for me, I really only learned this through trial and error myself, but personally, my best-selling items are cards and Christmas decorations. So I've gotten to the point where that's really what I focus on. And the categories that are most popular for me are friendship cards, family-related cards, and dad cards. I don't know why, but that's exactly how it's worked out for me. So I would say the friendship cards, specifically girlfriends, are the most popular items. So you can also focus on occasions like Mother's and Father's Day and grad, because these are things that typically a lot of people are looking for something different, so they don't want to just walk into their local card shop or gift shop. They want to find something a little bit unique. So I have a couple of funny dad cards that sell well. And my best-selling artwork on Zazzle is a friendship quote about friendship being like to pee in your pants. That one, warm.
Yeah.
Warm, something to do with like only you can feel it. Whatever. Anyways, it's just one of those that has become very popular for me. And I also seem to get bulk orders of girlfriend related quotes. So I'm I'm just guessing that that's something like for wedding parties or something, I don't know, wedding showers, that kind of thing. So there are a lot of things to learn about the Zazzle site and about, uploading specific design specifications. For example, a card on Zazzle has to have the artwork on the front and lettering on the inside and a logo on the back. So you're not just setting up the simple card front like I do in the card challenge, like the green card challenge and for card aisle and stuff. You can take that artwork, of course, and then adapt it to different products. So like I have a greeting card artwork and I can make it fit for certain things, but I also find that I have to make my artwork a little bit differently for Zazzle. I will set it up more likely as a square and have my artwork kind of smaller in the middle so that then I can use that square artwork in a portrait fitting layout if I need to, but it still has a lot of stuff on the sides so that if I want to use it for a mug, I can make a long, skinny wraparound with the extra artwork that I have there. So there are some ins and outs to learning exactly how to cope with what you need to do for Zazzle. So I'm not trying to scare you. Of course, you can work with how, what you're used to. You can do just cards and do just that size and proportion that you need. But I just personally find that it's easier to work with a square layout. And of course, you need to export it as a flattened file like a PNG or a JPEG. But your original file, you should keep in layers so that you can reconfigure it for that different item. Okay, so, I know I feel like I'm getting lost in the weeds here, but I also recommend that you create that and think about the future use of it so that you're not spending too much time making new artworks all the time.
Yeah, repurposing it.
Yeah, exactly. So I hope that answered your question, kind of, sort of.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of a spotlight on the 5 cards in 5 days challenge. So now, which is such a great starting point for anyone curious about designing cards, as Delores has been mentioning. Can you share what the challenge involves and what participants walk away with? I know you show the Zazzle platform in the challenge. That's why I kind of brought that up.
Yeah, I do explain various platforms in the card challenge. And I think the card challenge is great because in that 5-day kind of setup that we have, it gives you so much information on producing cards in quantity. So I recommend that you try to repurpose the artwork and just change the message. If you get like really set on a particular style or technique as you're working, use that technique several times just so that you can really have your brain absorb the information and build that muscle memory. So if you're going to do an artwork with flowers and greenery, do 5 of them, like one right after the other, so that you really kind of get it. Like by the 5th one, it'll be easy. It's always that first one that's hard. So definitely that's part of the greeting card challenge. And we talk about how to do that. And the other part of it, of course, is just, the uploading and putting your stuff up for sale on POD sites. And everybody complains that the upload process is so frustrating and time consuming. But I want to emphasize that the process can be made faster. And I explained that in the card challenge. And again, repetition is what helps you build up your speed and your techniques for uploading. We've figured out, and this is myself and Lindy and a couple of other people who are really active with Cardile and just uploading on a regular basis. And we just have figured out that it's great to form the habit of uploading a card a day, for example. Yeah. So if you do that, by the end of the year, you'll have 365 cards loaded. And it's actually better for the algorithm if you space it out rather than sitting and doing it like for 3 days straight and doing your 200 cards. It's not the best way to do it. So within the challenge itself, I also explain a lot about creating art and laying out the cards, as this is something that I do so regularly. And I sell 2, 3, sometimes 4,000 cards every quarter between the different sites that I sell through. So it's worth it for me to keep this as an ongoing process. I just don't have time to sit and do it for any amount of time, like weeks. I have also trained Che, my daughter, to, obviously she's been my partner for so many years in the business, but I've trained her to do the uploading for me. So that gives me more time to focus on the artwork. And that's something you really could consider. I mean, maybe like, do you have a family member that could help? Somebody that has time on their hands. I've tried more than once to talk my husband into it, but he doesn't seem to. Anyway, I think with the challenge, Kaylie, that the main thing that people walk away with is just a plan, and a way forward. Yeah. And I've got somebody who says she's going through the recorded challenge right now for the 3rd time. And, I think it's great because she's going back, and she says every time she goes back, she's kind of focusing on a different thing. Mm-hmm. And you got to know, it's not a get rich quick scheme by any mean. Like, there's no way. You're not going to make piles of money. No. But you have to start slowly, and eventually you'll start to build sales in all these different areas. And it's proven. The stats are proven by my students who have gone through the challenge. And we talk about this almost every Tuesday at the Thrive meetings. Everybody will have 2 sales or 10 sales or 5 of a specific card. Like, there's always something coming up. So it is working for them. So remember, once you get really good at it and you'll have cards that you can put into your portfolio, you can also consider pitching those cards to greeting card companies.
Yes. Yeah. It's such a great little thing you can just kind of do on the side. If like you have regular uploads to different sites, and then you repurpose that content to cards as well, and then just add them up. It just adds that little bit extra to your month, to your quarterly, isn't it? Because you get quarterly payments from them, don't you? But yes. Yeah, that's such a great thing to do.
I don't even really look at it anymore. I see it when it comes in as a payment. I don't go look at Cardile and see what I'm selling daily. I did at the beginning, I have to say. I mean, it was sort of like, oh my God, I sold 5 cards. So it was really exciting. But Now it's just, I've got so many other things on my plate that it's just like when the quarter ends, a couple days later, I get a payment, and it's, it can be quite a bit of money. It adds up. And
Yeah.
I encourage you to just add that to your little list of things that you're doing.
Yes. All right, I've got a few burning questions that I know listeners are wondering too. So, what types of designs tend to work best for bundles or themed sets?
Ooh, well, Christmas. We did lots of bundles of Christmas. And then we did something called an everyday line. So that we would do, I think it was 8 cards, and it would be like a thank you card, congratulations card, sympathy card, just a general kind of sympathy card, not too specific. We would do like a thinking of you, a feel better, like, hope you're going to be well soon or something like that. And then sometimes we just had 2 or 3 in there that were just simply artwork. And so we would put these sets together. They would be in a plastic, a nice box that was the exact right size that you could buy, and with the envelopes. And then we also did little stickers that went like envelope seals with every one of the cards. And that was actually one of those like just little extras that people don't get when they go to a card shop and buy cards.
No,
and
you
people
don't.
would literally say to us, I come here to get your cards because I love those stickers.
It's just finding little ways, isn't it, to kind of add that personal touch or that little bit extra that someone wouldn't get in like a supermarket or something. Yep. It just all adds up, and then eventually you get repeat customers when you do get that.
Exactly. Added value.
Yeah, added value. So what makes a card or gift giftable on Zazzle, especially for holidays or seasonal sales?
Ooh, how do I answer that? I think that a lot of it is just luck. Like I would never in a million years have thought of doing a Christmas ornament. That would be like the last thing that I would think would sell. And just by a fluke, it did start to sell, and that became giftable. It became just one of those things that I could then offer and put into my Instagram feed or whatever, buy this as a gift. And then just that added value of being able to personalize it made a big difference too. So I guess that's my answer.
That's why I think so much people on Etsy who do customization actually sell so well, because they've figured out that customization and personalization for customers is just, it's the way to go. I know it can be difficult because it's still kind of time consuming for some people, but there are ways and automations that you can work in and make it easier and quicker to do as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So how much time should someone realistically expect to spend getting their first few products live?
I think getting to know the first one is going to feel brutal to just get through the entire card. First of all, when you look at the cards on Zazzle, there's like 50 different cards. There's like landscape layouts. There's your 5x7 card, the 4.5-inch card. There's giant cards, like 18-inch cards. There's
I've seen
cards
them,
with no backs. Like there's postcards. So the hard thing is just kind of looking through it all and trying to figure it out. I'd say stick with something that you know. So if you are like buying cards or seeing cards that are 5x7 and they're vertical kind of a layout portrait, definitely just do that first. So get through that first card, get through the process of creating one card. My biggest advice, I think, for you would be to create a card from start to finish, one card, and then buy it and send it to yourself and take a look at that. And so the process could be kind of long at the beginning, but take notes, write down exactly what you did, or if you can even do a screen capture of what you're doing, anything to help you just remember it more easily for the next time. But I would say, when you're first setting up, you could spend a week to just get 2 or 3 products live and learn the process.
Yes. And Zazzle has lots of different products, so you don't have to do cards if that's not something that you do or you want to do. There's plenty on there. I think I started off with like cushions and mugs or something like that I started with, because that was kind of like the artwork layout I had. But I was using on t-shirts that kind of still worked well because they had quotes on them, and they would work well on mugs and cushions as well for like mums and grandmothers. So that's where I went with it. Just didn't kind of go very far with it because my maternity ended. So my maternity ended and I had to pivot. So that's just how things are. Is Zazzle a good side income stream for artists or more of a long game?
I think it's a combination, and it's like any platform. And, I always recommend you choose 1 or 2 platforms only so that you can put some attention into them. And I think that on any of the sites, the algorithm is going to favor those who are steady and putting more stuff into their shops. And one of the things with Zazzle you can do is set up an actual shop and set up actual departments, and you can have separate categories. So if you find that your mother's cards for mothers or sympathy cards or friendship cards are selling, and any products related to that, I did sell a lot of mugs. And like I said, the ornaments, I created different departments so that they could go specifically to the friendship and see all of the ones I offer for friendship. And once I realized, well, it was the funny friendship ones and female oriented ones that sold, well, of course, that's what I focused on. So, and I have to say, like, it is a good side income stream. Like at the time, when I was really active on Zazzle, and that one card and decoration that I was telling you about, I could make $500 a month on that artwork alone, and not just on the ornament. It would be on the card, and it would be on a mug, and it would be, so $500 a month is nothing to sneeze at.
No, it's not. No. Yes, definitely it's worth considering. I love the Zazzle platform. I just wish I'd had more time to focus on that, because I see so much potential in the Zazzle platform. They even do, it's kind of like an affiliate for their products. So you can be a seller, but you can also affiliate for other shops. So they've got licensing for like Marvel and Harry Potter and all the like Disney and things like that. They've got licenses for them, so you can actually direct people to, let's say you find one that you love, that you can actually send people the link and you can get an affiliate commission back from that sale. I think that's actually quite a good way, because you are not allowed to do that yourself.
Yes.
No matter how much you want to, you cannot create a Disney design and then try and sell that. That's, it's illegal. But at least you can still kind of earn a commission off sending someone somewhere else. I think that's quite a good strategy, the way Zazzle have kind of set that up. So I think that is definitely one that I probably will try and utilise in the future.
Good.
So let's say someone's got a few listings live. How do they get seen? There's lots on Zazzle. What helps a product stand out? Any thoughts on tagging, keywords, or descriptions?
Yeah, that's a great question. And that works. I mean, it's a question for every type of site that you're selling on. So to get seen on Zazzle, definitely focus on strong keywords and tags and descriptions. So try to use words that if you were the person searching for that you would use those terms. So be descriptive and really specific, like floral wedding invitations instead of just card, which is redundant. In fact, they take that off So you don't even have to put it in. They add it automatically to your title, so you don't have to put it in. So I always really try to add information about the color and stylistic details. Like if it's watercolor, for example, that's something that gets searched quite a bit.
Yeah. So how important is design mock-up quality?
I think mock-ups are super important. You do get mock-ups on Zazzle. They provide you with a couple when you make your product. So at first you can just download those to share on social media. So that helped me at first. I was able to do that, but I don't use those that much anymore. I buy nice mock-ups. I think it's worth the money because I can use those mock-ups many times over and over. Like, and if you find really pretty ones, I think that really helps to sell your products.
Yeah, you can find so many good stylized mock-ups that you can add your design to. And I've spent so much on mock-ups over the years.
Me too. In fact, I keep a lot of my money, like that I make on Creative Market. I just leave it on Creative Market because I know I'm going to be back like in 2 weeks and I'm going to buy 5 mock-ups. So I might as well just leave it there to use for that.
Yeah. I had a subscription with Placeit, and because they do a lot of like the print on demand mock-ups, and I utilized that quite a lot, to be fair, when I first started out with print on demand. They've got greeting cards, mock-ups and t-shirts and wall art and all sorts on there, which is great. And you can set it up in the little design area that they've got and you can drag and drop it in and it will just add it straight to it. Same with Kittle. Kittle does it as well. You can actually design cards in Kittle.
Oh, cool.
And it has like really cool text effects. You can do the wavy text with just like one click. You can just drag and drop. So it's really quite cool. And they have like a built-in mock-up generator as well. And what I love about it is if you're creating something for like a t-shirt, a design for a t-shirt, and use the mock-up generator, you can pick a mock-up where it has like a jacket over the top and like the t-shirt designs showing through. But the jacket's showing over the sides of the design, so it looks real, like it's on somebody with a jacket.
That's nice.
I noticed that the other day when I was recording, and I was like, wow, I need to start doing things like that again.
We know we're nerds when we get excited about mock-ups.
I get excited by mock-up technology. Otherwise, you spend hours trying to create mock-ups. Like I spend so much time in Canva creating them, and before that was Photoshop, like creating mock-ups. It's just, you can do so much rabbit hole stuff with that.
I know.
Okay. Do you recommend making themed collections or sets when it comes to Zazzle?
I recommend it. I haven't done it a lot, but it does make it easier for people to shop, and it does also encourage multiple purchases, like a wedding suite or a holiday set. Like you're going in there and you're shopping for your wedding, that person who is doing that is going to be very easily swayed to buy additional items because they're just they're in that frame of mind. So collections definitely also make you look more professional. So they give your shop that sort of cohesive, I hate that word, but cohesive professional look. And it's really about finding that strategy, like the balance between strategy and great design. So you're trying to figure out what the best way is to move forward with it. So on Zazzle, like I said, you can set up that storefront with categories, and you can go and check out my shop to see what I've done. So like I have those examples I gave you earlier, but I also have like a category for teacher, which I found was a very good selling category in May and June. And I have a nurse category because that's another one that I discovered was like I posted one artwork for nurse and then found that I was getting orders for that. So I made multiple additional items. So we'll put we can put the link in the show notes or whatever.
Yeah. They're good on Etsy as well in those categories. Obviously they're quite saturated now, but if you can go maybe even a little bit deeper with that category. There are sub niches, like if you do in for what they call neurology nurse, like if you go
Yes,
even deeper with things like that now, there's so much you can really tap into if you actually went down that route.
absolutely.
Yeah, were you saying with weddings, you can literally just, let's say you spent a week just on one collection, you can
Mhm.
create it in multiple different products for that wedding niche. So you can do your place cards, you do your invitations, your RSVPs, uh,
Signs,
do
signs.
banners, signs. Yeah, you can do all of them around, even if it's just a color scheme, a color scheme, or let's say you have a certain set of florals that you use for that whole wedding stationery collection or decor,
Mhm.
and just do that. You can get so much more sales when you do it like that,
Yep.
and it's very smart to do it in that way.
Yeah.
Some people just pick one thing and then just randomly post, and yeah, it doesn't work. It can work for some, but
Yeah.
it's best in practice. Okay. Any final words for the artist or designer listening today who's curious about Zazzle, or maybe just wants a gentle entry into product-based income?
Building a creative income stream does feel overwhelming at times. And I do want to remind you it's okay to not try to do it all. So, platforms like selling greeting cards on POD sites can be just one piece of your larger creative journey. I think that really focusing on consistent small steps rather than feeling the pressure to conquer everything at once, don't feel like you have to do it all. And again, I'll remind you, repetition is your friend because it
Yeah,
helps you to master techniques and to build up your speed and to gain confidence a little at a time. So remember, it's not a sprint. Creative work is not like that. And a lot of times, success comes from stacking the little wins over time, not from achieving perfection. And I can tell you that from experience. So I'm not just regurgitating the words that everyone says about this. I can tell you that I started with nothing online for sale, and I have built a little bit at a time. And I think if you can only upload like once a week, it's okay. It's the habit of showing up that makes the difference. And if you can, like I do, I lean into support. I mean, it's not like I don't pay for it. I do pay for it. But, if you can have a family member or friend help you with parts of the process that feel heavy, so you can focus on what gives you the most satisfaction. I mean, my Che loves doing it and I hate doing it. So why
I
not
know.
be here to do it,
I
right?
hated uploading to Etsy. Etsy
I,
was I hated
it's the
it.
hard part. It's the hard part
Yeah,
for me. I want to do the artwork. That's the hard part for her. So it works out perfectly. So it's the goal isn't to be perfect. It's to create and share your work in a way that fits your life personally. So trust me, all those little steps do add up. I'm proof positive that it can. So when I first started, I was my own best customer. So I ordered all of the things so that I would have an idea about how well my customer worked on products. And that was a great way to learn. And again, this is something we just talked about at the Thrive meeting on Tuesday night. One of the members had ordered her very first yard of fabric.
that's
So
awesome.
beautiful. It was so nice. And she listed off the things that she learned from the process. And, it's amazing because, you learn that whole process of uploading, you learn the process of judging things like the scale of your artwork, then you get the product and you can judge the quality of the product. And, she just realized so many things from that one order. And
Yeah.
I think that's really what this is all about, is learning that.
Yeah, it's like when I first started with the print on demand, I used Printify to start off with because obviously I'd only just had Aston when I first set it up on Etsy with Printify integration. And I'd done my designs for my t-shirts and stuff, and like it was on all things. But I desperately needed t-shirts after having Aston because obviously I ballooned. I was much bigger than what I was before having him, and yeah, I needed t-shirts. Nothing was fitting me, so I was like, you know what? I'd just order some of my t-shirts because they were at wholesale price. Because obviously I was only paying for the printing and the shipping. I wasn't paying like the extra on top because it was my designs. So
Right.
yeah, so I ordered 2 t-shirts with 2 different designs on it, which was good practice for me. So I knew the quality that I was getting, and I'm actually wearing one of them right now.
Oh, are you? Oh, that's
Yeah.
funny. That's funny.
The design is not there anymore, and pretty much the writing is, but the watercolor design that I'd created is not very visible. But that is probably because I lived in 2 t-shirts for like a year after having Aston.
I think that's great. It's fantastic, and like that's one of the reasons I recommend the cards because everybody can use cards. So ordering 5 cards that you know you're going to need in the next few months, it's a great way to just kind of learn the process. And I teach you how to do all of it in the 5-card challenge.
Yeah. If you're curious about designing greeting cards or giving Zazzle a whirl, check out Delores' 5 cards in 5 days challenge. It's evergreen now, so you can join anytime and still go through it at your own pace. If you buy the VIP Vault upgrade that we have, we'll pop the link in the show notes. You can also get all the replays from past challenges and all the resources and bonuses, everything that Delores adds.
It's loaded.
Yeah.
Oh, we'd love to hear about your first product idea. So message us or tag us in anything that you do behind the scenes. I just love seeing the stuff that my students create. And that's the joy for me in my weekly meetings is almost every week someone has something to share that they have created. And, it is a great learning experience for everyone else that's there. So we love that. Make sure you message us and let us know. And keep creating, keep juggling, and most importantly, keep finding joy in the process.